Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Jada Walker. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is James Kuntz, the owner of Tarrytown Roofing. We'll be talking today about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and show a peek at what it's really like to own and operate a business. So, James, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today. I'd love for you to give us a little bit about your background and who you are, and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 34 years old. I graduated University of Texas after living in Houston for most of my childhood. I prior to going to the University of Texas, I worked on a cattle ranch in Mexico every summer, from 3 weeks to 3 months every year. That played a big part in kind of the shaping of my life. But I worked in various industries from logistics to tech, and then into construction. Worked for two roofing companies prior to starting my own. Now we've got north of 20 folks on the team. We're doing commercial and residential roofing in Greater Austin area, but we've just wrapped up some jobs actually as far out as Colorado.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Why was that all the way in Colorado?
Yeah, so kind of just the nature of the business, right? You form relationships locally, they see your quality of work, and then they want that consistency, right? And so we just kind of pack up, travel our crews, and obviously reference local code language, check licensing requirements, right? And then execute in the same way that we would here locally.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So, to set the stage for our viewers, generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Like, do you have any type of investors or is it just all you?
So it's all me at this time. I think funding has a time and a place, right? Whether it's venture capital or angel investment or growth investment from a private equity firm or an exit through a strategic or an IPO, right? Um,
Hmm.
you lose a lot of control in a sense, but with the right investor partners, you can get mentorship and strategic guidance, right? Obviously, at a cost, right? But it's like, would you rather pay for that mentorship on the side, right? Or would you rather take on a strategic, capital partner, right? Where you're one of 10 or 100 or 1,000 portfolio companies, right? So I
Yeah.
took the get the mentorship route, work in the industry in the field for a while, and then leverage my previous expertise in different spaces.
I totally get that. Like, I'm the type of person, I know a lot of people, they just start their own business because they just don't want to work for anyone else. They want to work on their own time. So I definitely understand all of that, especially the losing control. Like, especially when
Sure.
it's your business, you don't want to lose too much control of it. Like, you started it.
Mhm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
right. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your current role as the business owner.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I work on day to day, right, is liaising with the strategic heads of the business, right? It's
Hmm.
you know different people challenges, right, throughout the day that we work through, right? But it's like, all right, what's the challenge today? It's systems issues, it's processes that get broken, right, and then need to be I don't know, just like reconfigured, if you will,
Hmm.
right? It's new partnerships. It's actually a lot of business development. So what I identified is like, what are the things that I'm good at and like to do, right? And I try and focus on those things and then bring people stronger in each of their own respective areas around me.
Nice. So you have like a nice team that you have on your side.
Correct.
Awesome. So many business owners, especially those newer to entrepreneurship, feel as though they never have enough time. I'm curious, based on your experience, if you were to give an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours? Would it be like in your business, or would you try to do it like in your personal life?
Yeah, if I were to get an extra 10 hours, right, like I'd probably, spend that in more strategic areas of my life, right? Like, kind of what's the highest and best use, right? Like for example, on the personal side, I probably wouldn't spend that doing laundry, right? Or doing the dishes,
Right.
right? I might delegate or outsource some of those things so that I can spend that quality time with the family. And, on the business side, right? Like I might do it on final interviews, right? Not the initial interviews, right? Where people don't show up. Um, so I think it's, just figuring out like what's your highest and best use, right? And then, allocating those hours, to those activities.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so before we get into the nitty gritty of the business itself, let's look at your background and a bit of about what led you here. So, why did you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to working for someone else? I know you said earlier that you did work for two companies prior, but why did you decide to start your own company instead of just staying with another company?
Yeah, so most of the companies in the roofing space, don't necessarily equip you for success. I think they try to hire well. They all compete for kind of like the same talent pool, and
Mm,
they just blow through a bunch of recruiting and onboarding, right? False promises. And yeah, it's just kind of a revolving door, right? And with that,
yeah,
I saw a better way, build a machine, right, where there are cogs on the wheel and each cog is dependent on the other cog, right? And like as long as you hire well and hire people and can recognize like what people's skill sets are, you could have a business development or marketing before that, right? Then business development, then sales, then project management. That's actually better at production, not sales, right? And then you have
yeah.
accounting, invoicing, and then account management, right? So it's like those are all different skill sets. And so trying to hire for that one person that can do them all, we call them unicorns, right? In previous roles that I've been in,
Hmm.
it's very difficult to do. Um,
Right.
Actually kind of your entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs and you're bringing them into the business, which is fine, right? Like there's a time and a place. Like you kind of need that ops person that understands everything else, but you only
Yeah.
need like one or two of them. I'd rather people be like super content with like what they're doing day in, day out. Retention will be better. They'll be happier. Everyone will make more money because their outputs are that much more.
Yeah. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Sorry, I just stumbled on my words. You can tell it's Monday. So as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with that you were forced to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the daily challenges, right? It's like you're not just responsible for your own outcome, your family's outcome, which like obviously is enough, right? There's like a team depending on you, right? And it's like there's something every day that comes up, right?
Yeah.
That tests you. And you either become like a much better person, it's personal development in disguise, or like you see what happened to people in these spaces, right? They scam people, like there's all sorts of bad stuff because there's like a lack of regulation in it.
Hmm.
There are clients that don't pay you right. There are partners that brush you off and are rude to you, right? And it's like, what do you do in that moment right then to like just reflect of like who you are, right? Do you react or do you, kind of like listen and just respond, right? And it's like it's every day. There's multiple times a day where like, I think I'm tested as a business owner and it's
Hmm.
just like working on yourself to be resilient, right? And to, respond. That's, in alignment with yourself and your brand.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah, that's like every day. I feel like when I go out into the world, I have to remind myself like to not react to certain people because of course like I can react at home like no one's gonna see me when I'm watching stuff like on social media or whatever, but reacting to other people and like what they say, it's like you kind of gotta take it back and remember like where you're at, like who you are and how you want to present yourself to people. So yeah, I like that. So how do you deal or how do you manage those difficult days whenever like you are having like those type of things pop up?
How do I manage them? I mean, I think it's like having a medium to deal with stress, right? And,
Hmm.
for me, I get in the sauna. I've got a sauna space sauna, right? It's got, you
That's
know,
cool.
it's super cool, right? Like I
Yeah.
focus on kind of like the personal health and development because, not only is it like meditative, right? Is it like, helping me out? It's like I'm not gonna go, stare at the bottom of a, whiskey bottle, right? Like I don't drink.
Right.
All that does is like you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow and like it doesn't actually solve anything. It doesn't make you stronger
Exactly.
or resilient. So it's like I just like try and harden myself every day.
Great. That's awesome. I like to hear that because you don't hear that from a lot of people. Some people like to just stay and be how they are. So that's great. So let's move on to what makes your business so special. So who primarily does your business serve?
Yeah, so you know, Tarrytown Roofing, like the name in of itself, like we backed into like who's our ideal customer profile. And yeah, it's like the commercial property owner, but it's like where do you start? We start where they live. And so Tarrytown Roofing, Tarrytown's a, very, historic neighborhood, like, well-off neighborhood, like if you go to buy a house there, right? Like you're spending 1.5 like for kind of the dirt, right? You can get a house for,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not gonna be a very big house. And then you're up to, $30 million, right? The types of folks that can afford these homes, right, care about service, they care about quality. Like this is their home. And it's a specialized type of roof system many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not a race to the bottom because they've done enough deals in life to understand that if you pay for the cheap price, you're probably going to get the cheap work, right? And the
Right.
cost of doing it wrong is the cost of doing it wrong plus the cost of doing it right. And I think these folks have learned that lesson, right? And so it's like we've come into a space where we can kind of prove our value on the residential side, and then we end up doing a lot of commercial projects for some of our residential clients. Um, and so kind of our ideal customer profile isn't of that. The folks that value service, honesty, integrity, right, over just a race to the bottom. There will always be
Yeah.
someone cheaper in any trade that you're in life, like whether it's software or like you're an electrician or plumber. There will always be someone cheaper, right? But it's like what sets you apart.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's, we have sustainability partners, right? We've got products that no one else can access in our markets, right? So there's things like that that we offer that are, truly differentiate ourselves outside of service.
That's great. I like that. Do you guys also work like on, because you said like commercial properties and then also like residential. Does an apartment complex, does that count as residential? Like, do you guys work on apartment complexes or is it literally just like houses and
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you ask, like where they're going to lump that into. We might
hmm,
classify it as commercial, whereas most might classify it as residential.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've done a lot of multifamily actually. One of the properties in Colorado was a multifamily property, 800 square property, and then we did one in Austin, 1,400 square property. So you're talking 12 large apartment units right off of, I-35 and 183. So yeah, we're doing that. We're actually a member of Austin Apartment Association, so active
Oh,
in
cool.
that
My
community.
boss is actually, I think, a part of, or it might be like the Round Rock one. I don't know. He's a part of one of them. I know that.
Yeah, no, it's a great group, and some of the products that we offer really speak to some of those property management groups that you'll meet in these networking opportunities. The great
Yeah.
PMs, it's how do we extend the life of the existing roof without it costing an arm and a leg, right? It's like
Right.
creating
Yeah, I used to work in leasing, and
yeah.
so we would have to call roofers all the time. And I'm like, we would call these one roofers, and I thought it was like they weren't really doing their job because we always had to call them back for the same issue. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen your guys' signs before, like around Austin, or I've heard of you guys before. I definitely have. So I was like, why don't we just call them?
Yeah,
But now I don't work in leasing, so
yeah,
I can't help you there.
no
That's
worries.
like that's cool. It's really cool. I like that. I like meeting other industries where I'm like, I literally used to work in an industry where we could have used you.
The bar is so low in this space. I hear it every time. I talked to another like a property management group, and they were like, "Yeah, the last person we used for roofing on this property was a welder that did
Oh
roofing
my gosh.
because they carried the insurance for the yeah."
It's like, what are you doing, people? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so funny. So why do your customers, oh wait, you actually kind of already answered this question. I was going to ask you why your customers choose you, but it's because you guys actually do the job that you say you're going to do. And you guys are reliable. I understand that. So how would you say that your competitors compare with you?
Yeah, like one thing I do a little bit differently than a lot of businesses do is like, a lot of businesses will do like a SWOT analysis of you versus your like competition.
Mm-hmm.
I focus on us, like who we were like yesterday or last month versus who we're going to be like, tomorrow or next month, right? It's like it's comparing yourself versus like the older or newer version of you, right? There's
Yeah.
manifestation things that you can do as well, right? But it's like if you focus on doing all of the little things well within your business from, how you describe like how the process is going to be on install day, right? To the types of magnets we use on cleanup, right? That are, much stronger, right? To, using black poly tarps, right? To protect the property and mitigate the nails, right? To notifying the neighbors of the construction day, to like all of these little things, like it's how we've gotten so many five-star Google reviews in such a short period of time because we don't even look at the competition because they're not anywhere close to where we are because we're focusing on all these little things and not that compounds over time. And if you just focus on like what the competition is doing, like you're gonna shoot like really short of your target, right? Because
Yeah.
the bar is so low in this space, and I can't say it enough.
Yeah. It's like you got to put blinders on. It's
Yeah.
like the horses, whenever they have like
Yeah, yeah,
those things on, it's like you have to do that in your business.
exactly.
Yeah. So, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about your business that they don't already
Yeah, I don't know how many folks that we partner with, know that we plant trees for every roof install or repair that we do. I
know? Oh,
don't
that is
know that
awesome.
as a new product, but I don't know that, everyone knows, right? We just started talking about it, that we picked up the dealership market for a product called Shingle RX, so we can soft wash, clean, recondition, and seal asphalt shingle roofs now and extend the service
Oh,
life of
wow.
them, minimum of 8 years, so 8-year warranty with a water intrusion. So it's a new product that we picked up to, reduce waste in landfills, extend the life of roofs, and hopefully like reduce these insurance premiums. Like I think it'll take time, but and obviously more market share, but we have the opportunity, so we have the exclusive, access to apply this product, but we might think about licensing it to other similar minded roofing partners. So there's things like that that we can do. So those are just like a couple of the things, but also that like most
Mm-hmm.
of the folks on our team, really care about like personal development and health and wellness and functional health and like just getting 1% better like every day. Like, and we love to talk about that type of stuff.
Yeah. It's always great whenever you have a whole team that's like on the same page like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So this is going to lead me to marketing, which is something that's vital to every business out there, of course, and often an area that many business owners struggle with. I'm always curious about what successful businesses are doing. So, what percentage of your monthly sales typically is invested back into your marketing budget?
Yeah, so there are right answers for this right now where I'm at. It is very high growth, right? I'm not focused
Okay.
on EBITDA or margin or anything. Like I'm not gonna exit my company anytime soon. So this will look like a lot different later down the road. There are general rule of thumb principles that I would, listen to, folks other than me, maybe Gary Vee, right? Go check out one of his podcasts. But I invest in quite a bit, right? It depends on
Mm-hmm.
into that marketing side, right? But like a lot more of what we're doing is more peer to peer. So that seed approach from your sales books, right? It's like I used to partner with private equity firms, right, to get their portfolio
Mm-hmm.
companies to outsource their finance and accounting with a brand I used to sell for. Now we're going to insurance agents, right? Property managers, realtors, right? And we're spending a lot of time and effort and money for those events, right? But we're also showing face. So it's not like we're just spending, 10 grand a month with this pay-per-click marketing agency, right? We are doing some pay-per-click,
Right.
but we're doing a little bit here and a little bit there. And so almost every like profitable dollar that's come in, I'm reinvesting because if I know if I put a dollar in, right, I'm going to get 5 to 10 back even if
Yeah.
I'm doing like a super piss poor job at marketing and sales. So it's really combining the marketing aspect and some
Mm-hmm.
brand awareness, like the events, the tables, right? The right ones with having a rep there that is a good, just symbol for the company, right? And it's going to, shake those hands, meet those people, and like tell them a little bit more about who we are.
Yeah. I like that
Yeah.
because I like seeing people's faces. I like whenever like I can know who the CEO is. Like,
It's good for trust. Yeah.
yeah. So, what is the number one marketing strategy that's brought you the most business? Do you track that?
Yeah, so what I would say, like, if I just turned on like Yelp or Thumbtack, right, and spent an unlimited amount of money, right, like that would probably get me more clients than any other lead source, but it's not my preferred lead source because my customer acquisition
Right.
cost is too high. We actually
Hmm.
just the nature of it, right? Like it sends you out to three or four pros, right? They rank the pros based on how much money they spend with you. To me, that's not a meritocracy. That's a pay to play thing, right?
Yeah.
So we get into the groups where we start working with the people in those group. It might be the apartment association, it might be a HOA property management group, like right. We start working,
Hmm.
we start doing the small stuff for them, right? And we might spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, right, with them before we even get our first deal. But from there, our customer acquisition cost goes down over time because year five, we're doing 80% for that property management group, and that hasn't happened yet, right? But like manifesting it, right? Like this is
Yeah.
what's going to happen because we won't drop the ball. We will continue to refine and improve, and if something happens, we're going to fix it, right? Because it's construction,
Right.
and it's investing in those relationships as opposed to just marketing landscape changes so fast, right? You've got talks about AEO, right, instead of SEO, right? Like how is Google going to change its algorithm with the, invention of AI, right? And
Hmm.
the adoption of it. So we try not to like get caught up with all the buzzwords and the marketing stuff. Like it's partnerships, tried and true, like
Yeah.
building more relationships and using technology to, allow you to do that at scale.
Moving from marketing to sales, what does your sales process look like? Like if I were to refer you over to or refer someone over to you, what can they expect to experience as you guide them on the choice to do business with you?
Yeah, so I'll explain it for like one of our referral partner types, right? So that might be an insurance agent, which we love our insurance agent partners. We refer business over to them when one of our clients doesn't, know or like their insurance agent, right? So they might go to
Hmm.
a landing page, right, for that sales rep that
Yeah.
develop that relationship. It's going to have their, availability, right? So if they share that to, one of their clients that needs a roof inspected prior to filing a claim, huge thing to do if you're not doing that already. Have a, actual reputable roofer check it out, not just someone that's chasing, like someone that is referred by your insurance agent is probably going to shoot you straight because like they get paid
Hmm.
when they build your roof, right? So
Right.
yeah, like we'll get on the calendar. That'll happen right then and there, right? So they feel like they've been heard. So someone will show up, they'll get a reminder text, they'll see a picture of the individual on the calendar, right? So multiple touch points prior to even getting out there. We'll inspect it. We'll let you know kind of what's going on. Is it repair? Is there no damage? Is there damage? Is it loss of life? Is it a shingle RX candidate? So we right there, we've got, four or five different options. Whereas any other roofer comes out, they're gonna be like, yeah, it probably needs to be replaced. It could be brand new, right? And there was a
Right.
hailstorm, and they're telling you there's hail damage. They're not showing you the photos. Like none of this stuff is happening, and they're just pulling the wool over your eyes, and like you're not getting on the ladder and getting up on the roof.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
maybe if you trust that person, right, who probably knocked on your door, um, like you might be doing these things and spending this money that you don't need to spend all for
Right.
profit. There's enough capitalism in this world, right? Whereas it's just like it's not working out in the right way and it's happening to the wrong people. So yeah, we're just very upfront, transparent, and honest, and we understand that if we do a $300 or $500 repair, like this happened not too long ago, we did a house in Tarrytown, a repair,
Mhm.
a tree fell on this lady's house. She referred us to a commercial property owner that owned 125 commercial properties. So it's like
Wow.
you have to do the good deeds and do the repairs and treat everything like it's all a relationship. And if you do that, like nothing stops you.
Right. Because it's like you never know where a blessing is just gonna fall out of the sky, like
Yeah.
that.
But we over communicate too. Like, let's say we are doing a replacement for that client, right? We're notifying them when the materials are going to be dropped, what to expect on install day. Like, working with us, like you're getting that level of communication you're just not going to get other places.
Yeah, I like that. Because yeah, a lot of people, they just, it's like they don't even want to talk to you, period. Like they're just like, just let me do the job and get you out of my way. That's really personable. All right. So you guys mentioned you have a few team members where possible, and I feel it's important to address the topic of building a great team. So how would you describe your leadership style in business, and has it changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like one thing I didn't appreciate when, I was working for all these companies, right, is a micromanage
Mm-hmm.
approach to leadership. That's not leadership, right?
Right.
That's called something else, right? So, um, I think it's like you just hire good, strong people, and then it's like if there are things that come up, you kind of just like talk through it with them. It's like, hey, this is how I would kind of think about it. Like, and you just take it from that approach as opposed to, and then like you hear them out. Most leaders don't listen. And most
Yeah.
leaders, like, they might not even be responsible for hiring the people coming into the business, right? They're just inheriting them and then they're tracking them. They just want you to do
Yeah.
that one job. Like, I want people to grow the business, right? Like, if they want to be a leader, right? Or if their only thing is to make more money, great. I'm gonna teach them that, making it is only part of the battle. It's keeping it, right? And
Right.
growing it. So I think it's just, having those conversations, building a relationship with the folks inside your business too, and learning from them.
Yeah. And since you just said something about like building your team up, do you have any leaders that you see are developing on your team at the moment?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I mean, one's, kind of a parent, right? He's been a leader, owned businesses, right? But there are others on the team for sure. Some I've seen in previous roles, some are newer, but it's interesting. It's like you give people room to grow. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time and stumbling or whatever, and some people just don't, right?
Right.
It's great to see when people do, right? And they just needed a shot,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're running with it. So it's kind of like that all-in thing. um
Yeah.
yeah, and you can be working, doing something else on the side, right, that you have to do, that you've already committed to, right, and do this
Mm-hmm.
with 100% effort. Like I firmly believe that. It's like you just set the right expectations. Hey, I'm good. Like these are the times that I can focus on Tarrytown Roofing, right? And like we've had people come into the business recently that, have already started to deliver upon that. And I think, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of opportunity for folks like them. And, we've just got some great people within the business that, are starting to grow.
Yeah. So what type of training do you have in place for your team members?
Yeah, yeah. So I think like so the company that I came from, right? They would bring
Mm-hmm.
you in and you'd have like a 3-day on-site role-playing training,
Okay.
door knocking. That was it. All sales training. So we partnered with a company, and like I didn't want that to happen, right? And obviously first year in business is
Right.
like, because I didn't take on funding, it's bring revenue in the door as fast as possible so that we can self-fund. And so that's what our focus
Mm-hmm.
was while delivering a, phenomenal experience. So it was really just me like working with the folks on the team. If I didn't know something, we were working with our crews. I was reaching out to mentors, things like that. And like that's how we handled it for the first 6 to 12 months. What we're doing right now is documenting all the SOPs within the business, people, systems, processes. Then we're filming videos, using meta glasses and a DJI Osmo and drones and stuff like that to then plug
Oh,
into our own internal learning management system and LMS system, which
that's
is
cool.
a fancy name for our Go High Level CRM. But that way people can go and grab that information. But as of now, we have access to Building Experts Institute, commercialroofer.com, University, Kevin Sarno's multifamily training. It teaches you how to not just the relationship building side, because a property manager, right, as you would know, cares more about certain things. Maybe their phone stops ringing about the leaks that are happening, and then you can't get the roofer on the phone. Did they do it? Did they send you photos? Hey, I have the photos right here. They obviously address something, right? Like that level of over communication to like make you look awesome. Versus like a realtor or a insurance agent, right? Everyone has their own like wants
Yeah.
and needs. So yeah, I think, there's just, a lot of that and it's growing over time. It's not just staying static, right? But yeah, we've got a lot of different
Yeah.
resources available. It's, you can always lead a horse to water, right? It's like you can't make them train.
Right.
We'll be
I
doing
love that quote. I
more
literally love that quote.
in-person stuff here soon. We just wrapped up two weeks of in-person training as well with two mentors that came in.
Cool. That's awesome. I like how you like have so many different sources to help train them.
Yeah.
Because some people, it's literally just it's like you're shadowing someone, and then it's like you just have to pick up whatever it is that they're doing, and I don't like it like that.
Yeah.
So, what areas of training do you believe that your people will need most in the next 6 months, based on the current business and where the business is heading?
Yeah, I would just say like more commercial roofing training. We have some people on the team that are strong with that side of it, right? But a flat roofing system, as you can imagine, is more complex than a steep roofing system. So
Yeah.
it's like having more people that can run those types of inspections. Obviously, we'll have our production team that comes in, but just having the ability to run some more of those to leverage some of the technology that we have for like these roof MRIs that we can do, where we can moisture scan entire roofs. So I feel definitely on the production side and repair. Yeah. Maintenance, things like that.
Oh, right. How many employees do you currently have on your team?
So we've got around 20 folks on the team. That's
Oh,
not
wow.
including the crews. Yeah.
That's a lot more than what I thought you were about to say, to be honest. That's a lot. That's awesome. And you just established this company last year, correct? In
Correct.
2024?
Mhm.
Cool.
Mid-August.
Oh, so it's literally been like a year. That's cool. Huh. So, since we are at this point, let's now fast forward and look at what's to come. Where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, in the next 5 years, we'll be north of 100 million in revenue. Um, if I can do it with 50 people, right, I'll do it with 50. I don't want to rather have less people, performing at a higher level. And then, comes the big question, right? Like most people build these roofing companies up to ultimately sell them and cash out and buy their Lamborghinis. Like
Right.
I like Lamborghinis. You know, I'm sure I could find the money, find the toys to spend the money on, right? But I'm building this for a different reason, right? And so if there's
Yeah.
other companies we can acquire and roll in and kind of like provide the same look and feel and all of these things and protect the brand, kind of at all costs, I think we can build the team to do that. Um, and we can be the private equity firm, right? We can just continue to, kind of build that value and like there are certain tech companies, right? Like people like love to go and work, right? Because they provide
Yeah.
flexibility and things like that. It's like I want to build something more than that, like where you can cash flow, where it's like if you are sick, and something happens and you're down for the count for 3 months, like you're going to be taken care of. You're valuable to the business, right? And it's identifying where folks are valuable, like helping them, figure that out, right? And that personal development. They have to want it too, right? But
Right. But
not just
you're like, I want to be that crutch to
everyone,
help you.
but people that want to help themselves.
Yeah. That's awesome. You sound like you're such like a helping person. Like you like to actually help people and get them further than where they're at.
Yeah, I have to work with other members of the team to handle the folks that take advantage of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what has been your approach to goal setting, and how many goals do you set at a time?
Yeah,
And
I
also,
don't have like
do
a
you track
silver.
them? Because I know a lot of people they don't really track their goals. But yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead. I'm
don't have
sorry.
really like a silver bullet on this one, right? It's like I kind of have the big goal, then I have like the short-term goals, but I have more short-term, like, daily, hourly, to the minute kind of goals. It's like, hey, I'm gonna knock this out in the next hour, right? And I end up knocking it out in the next 15 minutes. And I think like for me, it's not necessarily like the rhythm. It's like I kind of know what needs to be done, but it's what
Yeah.
I'm doing is I'm putting like a much more like urgent timeline on each of them. If you give yourself
Mm-hmm.
a year, right, to build a house, it's going to take you a year or 2 years, right? If you give
Mm-hmm.
yourself 2 weeks, it might take you 3 or 4 or 2 months, right? If you're really like moving fast and you've got a lot of big crew, right? So it's like if you just set the expectation on a tighter timeline, it's only going to benefit you.
I like that. I'm the person I get a little nervous with timelines. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like I think I just scare myself. That's all it is. Because then I'm like, oh, it's actually gonna happen. But
I'm
like,
jumping into the deep end. Like, I don't know what's underneath, but like, I'm going. Like, if it's
yeah,
80, 90% way baked, like, I'm going.
great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a really interesting story. As we wrap up, I am going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, so what is the key to success for you?
I think it's, like your family, right? Harnessing, just kind of like that power and energy through them, right? It's taking care of yourself and it's like your personal health journey, right? Take care of yourself
Yeah,
before, I'll take care of me for you. If you take care of you for me, it's something like my wife and I say to each other all the time. It's like, um, it's important, right? You got to fill up your cup first.
yeah. Then you can't help other people if your cup's not filled.
Mhm.
All right. What is one piece of advice that you would give to other business owners?
Yeah, I mean, I think like aspiring business owners, it's like just do it, just take the step. Like everything doesn't need to align perfectly. For existing business owners, listen to your people, right? If you've hired the right people, set the ego aside for sure. And yeah, just can continue to work on yourself and grow so you can give more to your people.
Yeah. And do you have a book or a podcast that you're currently reading or listening to?
I'm listening to a lot, right? A
No, it's
lot.
like personal development. It's like when you get into it, it just takes over. So you just listen to like all types of things.
I'm looking over at my book. There's yeah, my bookshelf here. I've got a lot. I'll need to think on that of like what my like kind of favorite one is.
You're like, they're all my favorite. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of a fun question. If you had a little bit of magic dust that you could choose to put on one spot of your business and sprinkle it there, where would it be?
I think like the operations side, it's so important, but most people don't invest on it. They just like have their people like go through the same motions and like they don't
Hmm.
care because they can just replace those people. Like they don't care about making it more efficient because they can just
Hmm.
hire 10 more people to replace them and like that's how they grow. But if I focus on operations and I can make my people's life like they can spend more time with their family, right? More time selling, right? To make more money, right?
Yeah,
Like then we all benefit. And like it's such a more abundant and free way of thinking than being like, oh, I don't want to do the work to benefit these 50 other people. It's like so selfish.
yeah,
So focus on the operations of the business. That's going to benefit everyone, including your clients. But most importantly, your people, because they take care of
I
your
love that.
clients. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. So before we get into the final question of the day, would you please share with our audience how they can follow you and learn more and contact you?
Yeah. Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Tarrytown Roofing. And that'll be the easiest way to grab me or www.terrytownroofing.com. If you reach out there, I'll see the message.
Awesome. Well, we've come to the final question of the day, and that is, what is most inspiring to you?
What's most inspiring to me, it's I think it's like watching people grow, right? Um, obviously like not just my team, right, but my family, right? Watching
Hmm.
myself grow, right? Like I'm a completely different person than I was 3 years ago. Um, but yeah, like that's the inspirational piece, right? There's a lot of fear mongering with the news and things like that of like how bad things are. It's like control what you can
Yeah.
and don't let that stuff get to you. Like just hard work and tenacity and, just action beats everything. Don't get caught in reading a bunch of books and like not having everything figured. Like you're not going to have everything figured out. Like that's the whole point. Like you work it out while you do it. Just take the
Right.
first step. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I like when you were talking about growth because, like, literally, my daughter, she's almost 2. And I swear, this whole year, I've just been like, you are growing so fast. Like, I know people talk about it and they're like, you're going to miss these times. But yeah, no, I didn't realize it went this fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so crazy. Well, this was a great conversation. I really did enjoy hearing your story. So thank you for sharing. Also, I encourage all of you that are watching to save the show and come back and watch it again because James really did give some great insight for business. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and so that you can get notifications every time that a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and special thank you to you, James, for being with us today. We really appreciate it.